Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies. As always, I am your host, the real Geno Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about Breakthrough, which is a faith-based film, being that we are in the week before Easter. Usually we get one or more faith-based movies about this time of year, especially from bigger studios, this one being from Fox 2000. This movie is based on a true story, and it's about an adopted young man who has been with this family for most of his life, and he is with some friends, and they are out on a frozen lake. They're warned about it, but they don't heed the warning, and all three of them break through the ice and are in this lake, and two of the boys get out, but the other one gets hit on the head and he goes under. He is rescued by the search and rescue team, but he's unresponsive. He doesn't have a pulse. He doesn't have a heartbeat. After about an hour of being worked on, nothing happens. But then when his mom comes in and prays, all of a sudden he gets a pulse. And that's about as far as I really want to spoil the movie. That being said, if you've seen the trailer for this movie, you really know what you're going to get for the most part. This movie is definitely very predictable. It's very quote-unquote preaching to the choir, if you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying that if you're not a Christian, you can't get anything out of this movie. That's not what I'm saying, but it's one of those movies that it's telling a story for those that believe in the Christian faith. That's what I mean when I say preaching to the choir. This movie, it's about what you expect. It's really hard to talk about other than if you've seen the trailer, you've kind of seen the movie. Chrissy Metz from This Is Us plays the mother, and I think she does a really good job. I do like that her character's not really one note. Yes, she is the faithful behind the push, or the faith behind the push for her son to get better, but she also has her own issues. When we first meet her, she's in a way very controlling. She also is kind of set in her ways because at her church they just got a new pastor played by Topher Grace, and he's kind of he's one of the newer type pastors that are trying new things to get the youth in and things like that. That being said, Topher Grace's character is also he's also one of those pastors that tries a little too hard to be cool. But that's actually kind of played off for laughs in this movie. But she's very set in her way. She doesn't like this pastor. She didn't like that he brought in that rap music for praise and worship. And as the movie goes on, we also see her faith becomes almost like she. Okay, here's kind of what happens. I have to explain it. People are praying for her son and all that, but anytime she hears someone say something along the lines of, well, look, we have faith that he can make it through, that her son can make it through, but we have to prepare ourselves that he may pass away, she flies off the deep end. You won't speak negatively in front of me and in front of him and all this stuff. And granted, some of the way, in a way it works, in a way it doesn't, because some of the stuff these people are saying are not the nicest things. I mean, when there's doctors that don't think she's in the room, they think there's nobody in the room in front of her son. I mean, they're saying some stuff that in almost a jerky kind of way. I mean, it's not the usual just doctor speak. It's bad bedside manner. So there's times where I think she has the right to get a little peeved, but the movie plays it off like in a way she doesn't have the right. That being said, also when after a while, a couple times she's gotten through to her son where first like she prays for him and his heartbeat comes back. And then when she's talking to him and he's responding by squeezing her hand, especially, and it's specific questions. She's asking who's the greatest basketball player of all time. And is it Michael Jordan? Squeeze my hand. Is it LeBron James? Squeeze my hand. And he doesn't, with Michael Jordan, he does. And it's very specific. She gets to this point where she almost feels like she's the reason why he came back. She gets in an argument with her husband where she's like, if it wasn't for me, he still wouldn't be here. So she gets a little conceited in a way. And her character has some growth that she has to get through, and she has to, she sees that though her pastor's this newfangled pastor, he really does have the church's best interest and has faith, and he's just different. And she has to learn that sometimes different is better. There's also other side stories going on. Josh Lucas, who plays the boy's father, he has a crisis of faith. He can't be around his son. He just can't see him like this. And then also he's like, sometimes God won't go this far and save someone. Sometimes, God only goes so far, he says. The kid's doctor, played by Dennis Haysbert, he's just like, we're in uncharted territory, and he gets to a part where he says, I should know better, but a miracle happened. Mike Coulter's character, who plays the rescue officer that finds him, he thinks he hears a voice of his commander, but it turns out he's just hearing a voice, and so he kind of finds some faith here and there. That being said, you got all these side stories going on, but they all pertain to the main plot. And there's other ones that go on too, but they all pertain to the main plot, so they work. In movies like this sometimes, and it's not just faith-based movies, but it seems like in faith-based movies a lot of times they try to have too many plots going on that they kind of have to force together at the end. In this movie, it actually works because all of them at least have something to do with the main plot of young John Smith falling into the lake. One thing I really like that this movie did, and it kind of caught me off guard. It's not like world changing or cinema changing or anything, but and granted, again, if you've seen this, I'm going to jump into spoiler territory, but I have to talk about this. So you've been warned. And I guess I'll say, since I'm going to be throwing some spoilers out there, if you saw the trailer and thought this is the movie for me, especially if you're quote unquote part of the choir, you're going to like this movie. It's a faith-filled, feel-good movie that actually has some ups and downs when it comes to characters, not just, hey, we're praying for the kid and let's hope he comes back. The characters all are having crisis of faith and also character flaws that they have to work out. There might be a little bit too much going on in that department, but again, it all comes to play in the end. So now I'm going to get into spoiler territory. Granted, if you've seen the trailer, you kind of know the kid's going to make it. But here's where it gets tricky, because after he makes it, he goes back to school, and everyone welcomes him back and everything. And you think, it's the happy movie again. He's back. But then he has to stay after class. His teacher asks him to stay for a second. And she basically asks him, why did God save you? When my husband died 2 years ago, I prayed that my husband would make it and he died. Why you? And then also he goes to his locker and there's a bunch of Post-its on the locker. And a lot of it's well wishes. It's saying, I hope you make it back. I hope you're okay. Glad you're back. All this stuff. But then there's one on there that says, why do you get to live when my grandma or mom or someone, I can't remember what it was. Why do you get to live while my family member has to die? And it's like, whoa, that was kind of shocking. And then he's getting on his bike outside and There's a bully there that basically says, "Hey, miracle boy, you're going to try to walk on water again." So life isn't perfect for this kid. And the movie doesn't try to even answer, why he got to survive and why others don't. He addresses it later in the movie. He's like, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know. I guess God has a plan for me. I know there's been movies out there where they just kind of try to play it off like that, where it's like, I don't know. There's movies that have done that. This one, it works, though. It just, because the kid is just saying, I don't understand, but I guess I've got a plan. I don't know. And it just works, where I've seen other movies try to play it off the I don't know route and it didn't work. For some reason, it worked in this movie. Maybe it's because it didn't try to say, these are all the answers. There's characters in this movie that are still uncertain about how they feel about God at the end, which that would kind of be the normal reaction, where some movies it's just like, hey, we all believe now, hooray. And it's just kind of, that's not how life works. This one, I think, handled it very well. Again, this is a type of movie that's more so, quote unquote, for the choir. I got enjoyment out of it. It was a feel-good movie. It gives you a little bit of the feels. It challenges you a little bit at the end with that stuff I just talked about. Is it a big, cinema changer, though? Is it a must-see? Probably not a must-see. Again, if you're of the Christian faith, you're probably going to really enjoy it. It's definitely better than a lot of the faith-based stuff out there that really just forces their message and vilifies everybody else, because they are out there and they're, in a way, they're dangerous. But this one, it really, I won't say it toes the line. It doesn't stick around the middle. It shows how real people might react to stuff like this. Because, again, it doesn't try to give you all the answers. It says, this is what these people believe, and some of these people aren't sure if they believe, and these people don't know why this boy was saved, but he was saved. And that's just how this movie goes, and I thought it was pretty good. Is it a must-see in theaters? To me, no. For people that enjoy faith-based movies, you're probably going to really like it, and being that this is Easter weekend, chances are you're probably going to go see it, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. That's going to be all for this edition of Talkin Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Geno YouTube channel, like this video, and if you have anything to say about Breakthrough, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Until next time, I'm your host, the Real Geno, Geno Reynolds. See you later.